Cyberpunk 2077 was one of the biggest disappointments in the gaming community. It's like X-Arm, except it's a game. Not only did it have 7 years of build-up, have the most beautiful trailers I've ever seen, a fan base ready to empty their pockets for it, the Cybertruck, but the overall concept was also fantastic. An open-world action-adventure story set in Night City, a megalopolis obsessed with power, glamour, and body modifications that can turn you into the next Terminator. It sounds amazing, right? There's no way anything could go wrong. So what happened, and how did this beautiful masterpiece help recover this horrible game? Well, let's start from the beginning. It's January 10th, 2013. CD Projekt Red releases the first trailer for Cyberpunk 2077 with the main phrase being, "It's out when it's ready." Flash forward to August 27, 2018. 5 years later, they released 48 minutes of gameplay, and goddamn, it looks beautiful. Graphics, customizations, character interaction, world building, everything about the game looks amazing, even down to the most minute details, like adjusting your dick size.
Genitals off.
E3 2018, Cyberpunk's second trailer releases and it looks absolutely beautiful, with the secret letter being in it that again states that the game is released when it's ready. E3 29 again states that the game is released blah blah blah, it looks breathtaking, and we get to January 2020. The game was delayed until September when the original release date was April 2020, with the reason being they needed more time for playtesting and polishing the game. Fair, right? Then it's delayed a second time from September to November, again saying they needed more time to polish the game. And it gets delayed a third time by 21 days, but this time it's because they are trying to port the game to next gen, current gen, and PC. Day 20 of the 21 days, rumors of employees needing to work 6 days a week and basically having schedules worse than mangakas start flying around. And finally, the day before release, Screen Rant puts out an article saying Cyberpunk 2077 reviewers weren't allowed to use their own gameplay footage. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. You get the point. December 18, 2020, Sony removed Cyberpunk from the PlayStation Store, and GameStop had to start selling Cyberpunk for as low as $5 just to get rid of the stock they had. December 22nd, 2020, Cyberpunk 2077 sold 13 million copies, so even with all the buggy shit happening in the game, it was still a massive financial success. 2 months later, Marcin Iwiniski, a co-founder of CD Projekt Red, puts out an apology that honestly was just for shareholders since the stock went down by 75% and put them back in the position they were in when The Witcher 3 came out. And a month later, prior to releasing their 1.2 patch, they get hacked. Now, there are rumors of how the game turned to shit. My source, a YouTube video saying that he got an email from a snitch that works for a company called Quantic Lab, which is a quality assurance company that does what you expect. Make sure the product you make isn't shit. Now, the examples they cite in their portfolio are The Witcher 3, which also had problems at launch, Darksiders, that also had a problem at launch, Wreckfest, again the same thing. A pattern. Now again, all of this isn't 100% fact or proven, it's just purely speculation. With Cyberpunk's 2077's failure, I don't know whether it's ironic, poetic, or just sad that in the end it was corporate greed that killed a game whose commentary was about how corporations are bad to society as a whole. Voice actors, developers, designers, etc. worked their asses off, and I bet they didn't want the game to be released in the state that it was released in. But the problems lie within the upper management. With every delay happening, they had to give shareholders something to look forward to. That's why they didn't use COVID as an excuse to polish the game as most game companies did during this time. They didn't give the designers realistic timeframes to work with, and they didn't give the game time to come out when it was ready. And that's what's truly tragic about this game. Everything was perfect when it came to storyline and commentary, but they just didn't have time. So they took the storyline to another format. Less than 6 months later, after the apology, we got the first teaser for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And it looks good, like seriously good. Not only is Studio Trigger animating it, but it's directed by these guys that had a helping hand on every series you could think of. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Full Metal Alchemist, Gurren Lagann, Talking Clothes, Fruits Basket. If it exists, they probably made it. Cyberpunk is finally getting the attention it deserves. Fans of the games were interested in the series, and anime fans were even more hyped. Maybe too hyped. The story of Edgerunners follows our main character, David Martinez, trying to survive in a technology-obsessed city in the future. Night City is an unforgiving town that in a flash of a second can take everything away from you. After losing everything he loved, he finds a body modification in his apartment called the Sandevistan. He tells this creepy doctor,
"I want this fused here. High time I chrome the fuck up."
Now there's 3 main factions in this story. There's the suits that climb the corporate ladder to the top, where they're also part of a criminal corporation that owns basically everything. Maelstrom, okay, I don't know how to say that. It's full of these people that want to fit as many cybernetic implants into their body as they can. And Edgerunners, who are criminals that know enough to get away with it. Night City is a suffocating city that can corrupt even the most pure of people. David, when the show starts, is a boy trying to find his way out of that shithole of an apartment. Go to the next episode and all of a sudden he has nothing to lose and slowly becomes the man that he needs to be in order to survive this horrible environment that Night City is. The corruption within the story is also shown through cyberpsychosis. Cyberpsychosis is a mental illness, specifically a dissociative disorder caused by an overload of cybernetic augmentations to the body. In a city filled with cybernetic enhancements, you have to not only be prepared for anything, but also tread the line between becoming powerful with the possibility of being a cyber psycho and dying. Take this fight as an example. David goes in with the Sandevistan, but this guy counters. David uses his new foot implants and shoots the guy in the back of the head. This fight alone displays the power dynamic of the series, and if the first fight of the series didn't teach you that, I don't know what will. All the characters of this series are fucking amazing. Main, Dorio, Kiwi, Lucy, Falco, Faraday, Pillar, and the lowly Trigger fought hard to protect. All of these characters are fantastic. When you see that there's only 10 episodes, you expect amazing animation with barely any storytelling, but goddamn, each character has depth that even surprised me. For example, Main. Main used his cybernetic implants to run away from something. His wiki says that he used to be a military soldier, but there wasn't much expansion past that. What I love about Main's character is that the same implants that helped him run away are the same implants that cause his demise, making him the perfect example of what Night City does to a person. And not only that, you can see how it affects the people around him. David just overall being broken by the whole event, causing him to get more body modifications, not to protect himself, but to protect the people around him. Lucy having to temporarily quit edge running, and everyone else just moving on as business as usual because that's the life they signed up for. And once I finished the series, I found myself feeling empty, wishing for more episodes, but at the same time seeing that the series came to a perfect conclusion. I don't know where this emptiness comes from. Is it because I want more? Is it because somewhere deep inside I wanted a different conclusion? Or is it because this little story is just another part of Night City? I genuinely don't know. All I know is that Cyberpunk Edgerunners was able to capture the story of a struggling kid that was ostracized, forced into a life of crime, and ended up making a dream come true. Now, the revival of the game is nothing short of impressive, and this method has been shown time and time again to work. There was even a point in time where people pretended the League was good because of Arcane. Cosplays, memes, mods, beautiful music videos, and Edgerunners. All of these things helped Cyberpunk 2077 recover from being known as one of the worst games in human history to now being one of the only games to get a second chance. So what I hope comes from Cyberpunk Edgerunners is more good video game adaptations. Nier Automata and Genshin Impact are getting anime adaptations in 2023, but I hope big companies are able to look at the success that Cyberpunk Edgerunners had and stories such as Red Dead Redemption and give us a good story within those worlds. And just as a final note, Rebecca's way better than Lucy.